I just took shots of a few of the new buildings being built in my neighborhood. And as you can see, on average, prior to, I guess, 3 years ago, so 2015, 16, the average height of buildings, the tallest ones were probably like 6 to 7 flights up. And the monstrosity behind me there, it's about 17 flights. The monstrosity behind me there, about, what's that, 14? Then there's another one that they're building, and then they got like a little condo coming up there too. Alright, so giving you, this is my building right there. It was like 7 flights up. This was one of the largest buildings in the neighborhood. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Karan. Born and raised in Brooklyn all my life. Born in 1980s. Showing my age, 38 years old. And specifically, I was raised in what they call East Flatbush. Now, back in the 80s, it was predominantly all West Indian, Trinidadians, which is what my family, where they came from, Jamaicans, Haitians, Panamanians, all resided in this side of Brooklyn. All migrated here, and very similar to the borders and the immigrants and whatnot. Americans treated West Indians that way in the 80s and didn't want any part of us, and we were stealing all their jobs, from construction to nannies, things of that. Anything that they didn't want to do, we did at a fraction of the price. So let me say this: my grandfather, my aunts, my dad, mother, we did it efficiently at a fraction of the cost, and we were hated for that. We were disliked, and now we're no longer the flavor of the month, 30 plus, almost 40 years later. But very similar things that I was, would hear, and things like that, would talk at home. Now, so I gave you the way, right? So Brooklyn, East Flatbush specifically. Now, what are we doing here? Where E had a project. I apologize if I got this out to you sooner, but based on about gentrification, this thing of like just this removal of poor people in which basically were their homes, their current residents, and they just cannot afford to live in these neighborhoods anymore because who's coming in. I'm just gonna say like this, the incomes that we're currently here now versus the incomes that are moving in, it's night and day, man. It's staggering, bro. Like, if here 3/5 of man, well, it's about 3/5 of income too, because what they're able to afford as far as like a 1-bedroom, I'll give you an example. Like, a 1-bedroom probably goes for like $1,800 right now a month. That would have gotten you like a 3-bedroom about 8 years ago, a decent sized place. Now you're talking about maybe a studio, 1-bedroom. And who the hell can afford that and eat when you just can't afford it? And people, without blinking an eye, are buying it up and willing and able to do it. So I think the problem is just the disparity in wealth as far as black and brown people in America versus others. It's not to say like the 3% that have everything. Like, there are those among us that make so much more money than we do. And I mean, I'm very fortunate to still be able to afford here, but that's due to the fact that I lucked out and just have a great job, been there for 12 years and then top pay, and just I'm thankful to. I've always lived in this neighborhood, and it's just sad to see like how many of them are heading down to Atlanta or moving to the Bronx. Like, the Bronx right now is just like from Harlem to of course Brooklyn. Queens, I'm not really sure too much. I think Queens is still kind of holding down their communities and not just allowing people to come up in there and just buy up everything. And can you be mad at the landlords for just pushing out all the poor people? I don't know. But you even see right here, like I'll show you now, they got these homes, right? They got these 4 homes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That brown one right there, that's already sold. And so now they're basically going to buy out. Those are the 2 single family homes, maybe even that one, and then they'll build something like that. So I have no idea. That's another one. That one was a couple of years ago. So that's why it's still kind of like they tried to stay with the height of homes before, and then these fucking things came up. But yeah, man, it's about just what are people being paid, and ironically or not, I don't know how you want to put it, black and brown. We don't cut it in that category. We're just getting pushed out, and I have no idea where the hell we'll end up, unfortunately.